So this might be somewhat unpopular advice, but this is something a friend of mine told me a few months ago, and honestly, this shit has changed my life. Um, so basically, I think every guy should get sex toys. The more realistic, the better. And yeah, I know like a lot of guys are on no fap and no nut and whatever. If you want to do that, respect. Like I don't personally advocate it. I've done it for like short periods of time because I think it gives you like a lot of drive and like it gives you that male like, masculine aggression for short periods of time. But I don't think like no fap forever is necessarily a good thing if your goal is to ascend and slay and all that, right? um I think porn can be definitely, I don't think porn it is always evil. Like I think it's possible to consume it moderately. I think it's like a drug. There's people that drink on weekends, there's people that are alcoholics, right? Same way there's people that consume porn here and there, and there's some people that become full blown addicts, right? But whether like I think if you can avoid porn, but I think having a sex toy is definitely valuable. Because for multiple reasons. For one, like when if it's a good sex toy, right? Like you don't start to crave sex as much. Like you become more indifferent to whether or not like an interaction with the girl leads to sex or not. Like, you don't really give a fuck because let's say you're with the girl, you're attracted to her, you'd be down to fuck, but she doesn't seem interested. You're like, okay, whatever. After she leaves, I was gonna fuck my sex toy. Like it's gonna feel as good as actual sex. I don't care. But you start to develop that nonchalance and indifference, right? And another thing, is it gives you practice too. Like, because unlike like stroking your dick with your hands, not to get too into picture details, that, you know, like you're not getting better at the act of sex by doing that, right? Maybe you're I guess the one thing you're doing is um you're training yourself to last longer, but you're not getting better at the motions of sex. But if you practice with the toy, like you can actually like practice the motions better, right? Um, and being good at sex is a very, very important skill. Like if you want to keep a girl around, like if you want to fuck her once, okay, fine, never again. It doesn't really matter. But if you're trying to have like a girl that's a friends with benefit or a repeat customer, so to speak, right? You want to fuck her good, and having a sex toy helps you do that as well. And yeah, like in general, like you develop this sort of nonchalance, this like I don't give a fuck kind of attitude, whether whatever happens. And like I've talked about in another video, like a girl might tell, like a lot of times the girls will tell you shit like, I don't want to have sex with you tonight. Like I don't want to have sex with you in general, right? And that's like for two reasons. One is to establish a sense of safety because she doesn't want to feel like on like pressure to have sex because then you don't get turned on when you're under pressure, right? Like if you've ever, as a guy, if you ever like struggle to get an erection up, that feeling, right? Like if that's ever happened to you, the feeling of like when a girl's like you feel pressure from the girl to get hard and you just can't get hard, and you feel this like startledness, right? It's not a good feeling. Whereas when you're relaxed and calm, that's when you start to get hard, right? Same thing for a girl. Like if she's like on edge and pressured and feels like she has to have sex with the guy, then she dries up. But if she's like comfortable and the guy's like, yeah, he doesn't do it, it's cool, and we don't have sex, whatever, and all of a sudden she's gonna get wet, like it's like, so yeah, like it takes away the pressure. And two, it's also like virtue signaling. So she doesn't look like a slut, right? She doesn't want to give off the impression that she's a slut, right? Whatever her real intentions are, she doesn't want to give out the intent. She wants to make it clear that I'm not the type of girl to do this stuff, right? So she'll say that. But yeah, anyway, like if you're like deprived of pussy and you don't have a sex toy or anything and you're just super horny, then even if you try to control it, you're still gonna give off that energy of desperation. But if you have that sex toy, then in your mind you're like, all right, yeah, she leaves, fuck it, she doesn't want to fuck, fine, she leaves, I'm just gonna fuck my sex toy, I don't care, and that helps you a lot in that scenario. And yeah, like in general, if you want to attract something, you don't want to develop the desperation for it. Because here's the thing: when you have a strong craving for something, right, in your mind, what you're reinforcing is the fact that you don't have it. You don't like you're telling yourself two things, right? I really want to have sex with this girl. Like I'm really craving access to pussy. But when you say that, you're saying two things, right? You're saying one, like I have a desire for it, and you're also reinforcing that I don't have it, right? Whereas, the more you fuck your sex toy, the more you program your subconscious to feel like I'm abundant. I can fuck this toy whenever I want, and it feels like the real thing. So you're kind of convincing yourself, yeah, like I can derive sexual pleasure whenever I want, you know. Um, and the more you can do it without watching porn, the better. I think it's better because it trains you to be better at sex, right? Because that's going to be more of the real thing, right? And two, it's not as stimulating for you. It's not as much of dopamine, whatever. It's like it's the same amount of stimulation as real sex. So you become better at real sex, and you're not like frying your brain as much. So yeah. Again, might be controversial advice, but it's worked out pretty well for me. So I would recommend you do it too.